Welcome to the Fortem Wealth and Auric Mining webinar presented by Port Jackson Securities. I'm Aidan Lane and I'm here with Mark English from Auric Mining. Mark, how are you this morning?
I'm very well, thank you, Aidan.
That's good, Mark. So the presentation today, Mark will run through a few slides from a recent ASX announcement. From there, I'll ask Mark some questions and then we'll take live questions from the floor. You'll see on your screen there's an opportunity to ask questions there. Please ask them there. We'll endeavour to answer as many as possible towards the end of the webinar. I'll hand over to you, Mark, for your initial presentation.
Thanks, Aidan. Good morning, everybody. What I wanted to do is just run through 4 slides from some recent ASX announcements, just to give you an overview of where we are and what we're doing. On the screen now is an overview map of the area around Widgie-Maltha. So we're about a 1-hour drive south of Kalgoorlie or 1-hour drive north of Norseman. You can see our tenements on the map. We have 3 projects: the Spargoville project, the Munda project and the Jeffreys Find project. The Munda project is our main focus at this point in time, and that is what I intend to talk mainly about today. Additionally, you may have seen that we made an announcement to the ASX on the 19th of April. We acquired 21 tenement gold rights from Neometals. On your screen now you can see the tenements that we have acquired. Our tenements are marked in coloured blue. You can see the Munda tenement, the square tenement in the middle of that map. You can see that all the tenements that we've acquired from Neometals surround the Munda tenement. They're all at the top of the Widgie-Maltha Dome. It's a fantastic acquisition for us and it will be a game changer for Auric as a company. The next slide is really the same slide with just a little bit more information on it. You can see all the blue dots, which are nickel mines or nickel deposits. This area has principally been surveyed for nickel or mined for nickel. The gold is less. However, there are some very good gold projects in the area. The Widgie-Maltha gold project, which is right next door to us on the eastern side, produced 263,000 ounces of gold. The Beta Hunt mine, which is being mined by the old RNC Nickel, Carrara Resources out of Canada. And the Polar Bear project is also being mined by Carrara Resources. Also up at the top there, you can see the Spargoville tenements. Maximus Resources are doing a lot of work in that area. So we're very bullish for what we can achieve with our gold projects at Widgie-Maltha. The last slide is just the drill results that we completed from our recent drilling. We did a 27-hole program. We were trying to expand the resource. We were testing the boundaries. All the holes were outside of the incumbent resource area. Currently at Munda, there's 174,000 ounces of an inferred resource. We want to grow that, and that's what we were doing in the drilling. You can see some results there that we achieved. We achieved some big, good, thick hits of high mineralisation. That made us very excited with what we are doing at Munda. And with the surrounding tenements from Neometals, we've now got a fantastic land package at the top of the Widgie-Maltha Dome that we can explore. So I just wanted to emphasise those 4 slides, bring you up to date with where we are and what we're doing, and now I'll hand it back to Aidan.
Thanks for that, Mark. So we'll just jump into some questions now. So we'll just start off initially. So what's happening in the mining front in WA as a whole at the moment?
At the moment, Aidan, everybody is absolutely flat out. Everybody's very busy. All the commodity prices are at all-time highs. I'm sure everybody sees the iron ore price, copper, gold, they're all very strong. Our biggest impediment at the moment will be staffing and access to equipment. But we believe where we're located, just 1 hour south of Kalgoorlie, we've got that under control.
Definitely, and I was actually at the Sydney Miners Club meeting last week, and someone proposed that the whole mining industry is one of the least affected with the pandemic because you've been able to continue to explore and continue to mine. I thought that's not the case for every organisation, but how have you sort of responded to the pandemic in that way?
Oh, look, the mining business are quite well run. They're right at the cutting edge of technology. Everything has been put together remotely in mining areas for a long time. We're also in very small locations, so population density is not an issue. We have not had any impact from COVID. The only problem initially was airfares or flights getting out from Perth to Kalgoorlie, but they were maintained by the state government. So COVID has had no impact on our activities whatsoever.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear, and it sounds that you're in a good position to outperform a lot of retail and cyclical shares that have been heavily affected by the pandemic. And just around Auric itself, could you give some insight into the executive team and sort of the key people that you work with and how you sort of managed to build the business since floating?
Yes, look, today's an auspicious day for us. We've been now a listed company for 3 months. Auric came about by a combination of 4 principal people. Myself, I'm a chartered accountant by profession based in Perth. I've been involved in mining activities throughout my 40-odd-year career. John Utley is our technical director. John is a gold geologist. John has got a Masters of Earth Sciences degree from New Zealand. John's worked all around the world, Papua New Guinea, Chile. For the last big project, he was the chief geologist up at the Torquay mine in Nova Scotia. That's now owned by St Barbara. Stephen Struble is our other executive director and company secretary. Stephen and I have known each other for 6 to 8 years. We were on a board together for an unlisted mining company. Steve's a full-time company secretary. He lives in Melbourne. He worked at Jackson Securities, where Steve Morris, our chairman, also worked. So that's the connection between Steve Morris and Steve Struble. Steve Morris used to be a director on De Grey Mining, so he brings a lot of experience to our board. Stephen has been involved in business in Melbourne for the last 35 years. He's got great contacts in the capital markets. So that's our board. We've got a great spread of experience. We've got good people, good management team, and we've covered all the necessary requirements to run a very exciting developing company.
No, definitely, and it's a part of that when you build one of those mining companies to have a well-balanced board, and it's great to hear that you've been able to build that out and have that wealth of experience behind you. So I'll just move on to obviously the recent acquisition of Neo Metals. So obviously a massive announcement for you guys, and it's increased your gold exploration footprint by 1,800%. So from your perspective, how large could that opportunity be?
Oh, that opportunity is a game changer for us. It was a fantastic acquisition for the gold rights. Neo Metals have kept all the nickel rights. Neo Metals have also got the nickel rights on the Munda tenement. So that's how the structure came together. The gold rights, there's 21 tenements that we've acquired from Neo Metals. 4 of them are granted mining leases. The granted mining leases also around Munda. So that gives us, they are hugely valuable. That gives us a fantastic opportunity around Munda. The other ones are up at Spargoville. They surround our 2 licenses up at Spargoville. Spargoville is just north of the Wattle Dam structure. As I said, Maximus Resources are doing a lot of work in that area. But realistically, acquiring all the land around the top of the Widgie-Malta Dome geologically is a fantastic acquisition for us. It will give us a lot of focus. As I've said before, we're a gold-focused company. We're not looking for anything else. We want to be a purely gold-focused company around Widgie-Malta, and this acquisition is transformational for us.
Definitely, and I've just received a live question here, Mark, from Steve. He said it's great to have this acquisition, and I guess ultimately what he's asking is, what sort of cash position are you guys in to be able to continue to explore this? Obviously, it's quite a large region, and it'll take some cash behind it. How are you sort of positioned to do that?
Oh, our cash position is still quite strong. We raised 7.3 million in our IPO. We had some big payments that we had to make out to both Mincor and Estrella. We've made those payments. We're currently sitting around $5 million cash in the bank. We only have to pay Near Metals another $200,000 in cash for the acquisition of the gold rights. So we'll still have north of $4.75 million to explore. That will be able to cover all our expenditure requirements and provide a really good platform for us to move forward. Look, the last drill program at Munda cost us around $500,000. So we've certainly got the necessary cash in the bank to do what we need to do at Munda and surrounding areas.
That's great, and Steve, I hope that answers your question well, because at the end of the day, it is all well and good to have these opportunities there, but the company needs to be in a position to be able to take advantage of those. So it's good to hear that Auric seems positioned well for that. So I'll just move on to the Munda project. So in the sort of the short, 1 year to medium term of 1 to 3 years, what's your plan there?
Well, I'll talk about Munda first. So our plan is just to continue drilling at Munda. We have a program currently being designed, which we hope to commence in early July. I'm talking about Munda as well as surrounding Near Metals area. On the Near Metals area that we've acquired, there's 2 gold targets that they want us to drill quite quickly. So our goal at Munda is to continue the exploration, to continue the development, to expand our resources. We have internally a stretch target, a 1 year target that we'd like to meet, which is to increase our resource at Munda from 174,000 ounces up to around 500,000. That's a bit of a stretch target, but you've got to put out these opportunities. At Jeffreys Find is a different project. The first thing we've done there is applied for a miscellaneous license for access. Jeffreys Find is a very small, it's around 48,000 ounces. It's in a banded iron formation structure, so totally different geologically to the Munda structure. That's most likely going to be a toll treatment operation, Aidan. We're looking at doing the feasibility studies on getting that carted to either Norseman, Higginsville, Coolgardie or Kalgoorlie. Initially, our plan, if we can cart it to Kalgoorlie, if it makes money for us to do that, we can cart it anywhere, because that's the furthest mine mill in the area. So we're working on that to do with Jeffreys Find. We'll most likely do some work at Jeffreys Find in August, September, after we've done the Munda next drill program, and then we'll be talking to other people about what we do with the Jeffreys Find project.
Yeah, okay, so that sounds all very positive. And then just on the drilling, Munda, so there was a recent, gold upgrade to 137 and a fourth gold. So are there any key takeaways from that program and how it's going to sort of progress moving forward there?
Yes, there's 2 things that it's done. It's given us the knowledge of where to go next, because this was our first ever program. Secondly, one of the holes that we intersected, hole number 20, has the potential for a new resource. We picked up very close to ground level at around 26 metres, 18 metres at 0.7 grams. So you can see if my map's still on the up on the screen, you can see 3 red dots in a line out to the east side. That's hole number 7, 20, 21 and 22. Holes number 21 and 22 didn't provide anything, but hole number 20 did. And our geological team thinks that there is the possibility of a new structure there, so they want to go back and do more drilling there. Also, you can see the holes numbers 12, 10, 11 and 12 down the west side. One of those was the one that produced 13 metres at 14.6 grams. We have to do some infill drilling around those holes to get them back to be able to be counted in our resource. So we're planning at the moment. The geological team is actually out at Munda at the moment doing some prelim work. We're talking to the drilling contractor to get back out there in July. So what we're going to be doing is expanding in those 2 specific areas that I spoke about.
Sure. And just out of interest, how many sort of drill holes would you like to get in, say, by the end of the year?
The program that we'll do will be similar to the one that we've just done. So we did 27 holes. So we would like to do around the same number, around another 30. So if by the end of the year, we hope to be able to have a new resource estimate out late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter. That's our plan. So in total, Aidan, we hope to have around between 55 and 60 holes in the Munda project this calendar year.
That'd be a great result considering what's going on. And so there's obviously the opportunity in the Spargoville trend in the exploration district there. Is that a substantial opportunity for you?
That's a bit further down the track for us. One of our tenements is granted, the other one's still an application. The one that's an application is going to take a little while to get granted. The tenements that we've just picked up from Neometals, 3 of them surround those 2 tenements. So we've done some air core drilling up there just recently. We haven't got the results back on that yet. But our main focus for the next 6 to 12 months will be Munda and Jeffreys and Spargoville to a lesser extent. Okay.
And so obviously in the next 6 to 12 months, where would you like to see the company as a whole from now until then?
Oh, look, we think that we're quite undervalued at the moment. Our market cap is very low for what we believe we have and what we've achieved. We would like to see that, substantially increased. To do that, Aidan, we have to build resources in the ground. So that's what we're going to do, principally at Munda. That's our main focus. As I said, Jeffreys Find, we will do work at Jeffreys Find, and hopefully by the end of December this year, we'll have a plan on what we intend to do with Jeffreys Find in the next year or 2.
Okay, and so that's a good sort of outlook for shareholders there, that you're looking to increase that. And do you think that obviously with the growing resources prices, obviously gold especially, that's quite undervalued, that gold's undervalued as well, and that the market could grow there, and that'll obviously help you guys out as well?
Yeah, look, the gold price, goes up and down, it's still pretty strong. It's around 1830 US an ounce at the moment. So that converts to about 2,300. That's a pretty good price. Who knows where it's going to go in the world at the moment, but it's certainly improved in the last 6-7 weeks. And we think any movement in the gold price will be good for us, but realistically, we won't be a miner for another year or 2 at earliest. So really the focus is to build the resources, more than worrying about the price of gold.
Yeah, no, definitely, and that's the right headset to have moving forward, obviously, because that's out of your control. So it's good to hear that your focus is there rather than worrying about something that you can't control at the moment. And so what is in your control is obviously the value for shareholders. So how are you going to sort of maximise that, over the long term and medium term?
Look, we think that we've got an outstanding land package now for gold. We don't need any further tenements. We don't need any further land to what we want to achieve. The area that sits around the top of the Widgie-Multha Dome, as I said earlier, Minicore just to the east of us produced 260,000 ounces of gold in 2018 and 2019. We want to get up to around 500,000 ounces. That's our target. That's our stretch. That's our ambition. If we can get to that number, then our company will be re-rated substantially. We've got the area, we've got the skills, and we're in the right location.
No, definitely. And then obviously it's good to have that there, and you obviously have your own bias there. But if you could take that down for a moment and sort of, speak into what makes you different compared to other explorers in the market at the moment.
Well, look, Aidan, there's a few things. Management and people is always the key. We believe that we've got all the necessary skills and the spread of technology and intellect to do that. Location is a fantastic benefit for us. As I said, we're 1 hour south of Kalgoorlie. Kalgoorlie is a fantastic infrastructure. Everything that you can possibly need to run an exploration project is available in Kalgoorlie. All our projects are quite well located. To get into Munda, we're only 5 kilometres off the bitumen, so it's really easy to get in and out of. There's a little town site, Widgie which we can stay at, which has got food and facilities. So we're not camping out in the bush. We don't have to drag caravans and things to our exploration site. Everybody goes home every night and sleeps in a nice warm bed. So the location is fantastic. One of the reasons that this area had not been explored much for gold over the last 10, 15 years is there used to be very onerous and draconian royalties with Morgan Stanley Bank. They were over all this area. All those royalties got expunged in September 2020. We had to pay Mincor $150,000 contribution to get rid of the royalty at Jeffrey's Find. We paid a similar amount to Estrella to get rid of the gold royalty at Munda. For example, when Mincor mined their Widgie projects in 2019 and they produced around 260,000 ounces of gold, that royalty payment was around $6 million that was paid out to Morgan Stanley Bank. So Mincor really didn't make any money out of that operation. Now that those royalties are gone, we see this area as a gold area being re-rated. So that really excites us. As I said, we've now got 5 granted mining leases. So that means that if we find anything, we can get mining very quickly. If they were still exploration licenses as opposed to mining leases, that would take another 10 years to get granted. So we've got fantastic assets and fantastic tenement exposure, really to be able to do exactly what we want once we build the resource.
Okay, it all sounds very positive, Mark. And I guess, the ongoing saying in mining these days is, right time, right place, right people. And, from your perspective, it seems like you're hitting all of those baskets quite well. The timing at the end of the day will be dependent on, the gold price and how soon you can sort of increase that resource base. But the rate that you're drilling and the rate that you're operating as a company, you'd have a positive outlook on that for sure. So we'll just move to some questions from the floor now. So this one sort of follows on just from what we were talking about just now, and this is from Andrew. So Andrew is asking, in the actual exploration side of things, I think he's talking about the drilling and the tactics of drilling. Is there anything that you guys are doing different to other companies, or that has been done previously?
Not really. Our last program was an RC program, reverse circulation. We will do another RC program. The drilling programs are known. They're pretty standard. One thing that we are doing that might be a bit different was we use a machine called an XRF machine. We tested every sample that came out of the recent program. We've sent those results across to a geophysicist in New Zealand. He's analysing that data for us. That will give us a bit more understanding of the rocks and what's happening underground. But really, everybody's using those technologies. So I don't think there's anything that we're doing differently. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, and I guess it's fine not to be, doing everything differently as long as you're doing the right things. And it sounds like you're keeping, ahead with the times and the new technologies and availabilities that we have to be able to, even ship things off to New Zealand. Something we couldn't have done, 60 years ago with the same time frame, and get that back so quickly. So, that's obviously good to see that happening. And then I've got a question here from James. So James just asked, what are the biggest hurdles as a company that you're going to need to overcome in the next 12 months and then moving forward?
Look, the biggest hurdle will be just building the team. This week we've made an offer to another senior geologist to join the team. He has accepted that offer. He's going to start work with us in about a month, which is a good acquisition. It's all about building the people, maintaining your money, spending it wisely. We have to get value for our exploration dollar. As I said, it's not cheap. $500,000 per drill program. It doesn't take too long to run out of cash if you don't hit results. But as I'd like to emphasise, we were really delighted with getting gold in 24 of our 27 holes. that proves from a conceptual point of view, we knew what we were doing. Now that we've got that data that can really redefine where we go and what we do at Munda, so that keeps us very excited and pleased that we have been able to achieve those results.
No, definitely, and that's what we have in the live questions at the moment. Before we wrap up, Mark, is there anything you'd like to touch on before we go?
Well, not really, Aidan. As I said, we're a young company. Even we're not even 2 years old. We've been able to achieve amazing things in the last 2 years. The executive team has really been able to execute very well. We've bought 3 good gold projects now off 3 publicly listed companies. I think that's a good achievement. We're focusing on area. So I suppose what I'd like to highlight to everybody is that we're one commodity, gold, in one area at Widgemaltha, which is in a Tier 1 mining area in West Australia. They're our strengths, together with the team of the executive directors and the management team that we will build.
Yeah, no, it's all very positive. And to be honest, in today's market, it can be hard to find, a young mining company with that high upside, with a team of individuals who are all driven and working to achieve the same result, and have a good outlook on what they can control, and the drilling results that they're going to try and, achieve in the next 12 months. And so it's good to see, you're sort of pulling all those things together, and you're in a great cash position to do so, at least in the medium term. And then obviously, a great way to, get in a stronger cash position is to have good drilling results. And at the rate that you're going, you'd hope that, that's going to continue. So thanks, Mark, for joining us today here with Fortem, and thank you again to Port Jackson Securities for hosting us. I'd like to just wrap up by, saying what an exciting company this is. It has, that very high upside for investors, and with the opportunities that it presents. And the constant flow of drilling results into the market is always going to be very positive. And if you have any further questions for Mark, or you want to speak with myself, you'll have my email and number sent out to you as well, so feel free to get in touch. If it's something that I can't answer, then I'll pass it on to John and then Mark as well. So John's the technical manager over at Auric, and if John needs to answer that question, I'm sure he will. Either that, Mark and I will try and answer those questions. So thank you for joining us today, and thanks, Mark, for coming along.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Aidan. Have a great day.
Thanks, Mark. You too.